I'm going to read from the book The Killer Angels. The episode takes place with the 20th Maine on Little Round Top. At this point, the Confederates have attacked up the hill several times. The 20th Maine has lost many men and is just about out of ammunition. Chamberlain, the commander, gathered with Spear and Kilrain back behind the line. He saw another long gap, sent Rule Thomas to this one. Spear made a count. We've lost a third of the men, Colonel. Over 100 down. The left is too thin. How's the ammunition? I'm checking. A new face, dirt-stained, bloody. Holman Melcher, Lieutenant, Company F, a gaunt boy with buck teeth. Colonel, request permission to pick up some of our wounded. We left a few boys out there. Wait, Chamberlain said. Spear came back, shaking his head. We're out. Alarm stained his face, a grayness in his cheeks. Some of the boys have nothing at all. Nothing? Chamberlain said. Officers were coming from the right, down to around our 2 men. And now there was a silence around him. No man spoke. They stood and looked at him, and then looked down into the dark, and then looked back at Chamberlain. One man said, Sir, I guess we ought to pull out. Chamberlain said, Can't do that. Spear, we won't hold them again, Colonel. You know we can't hold them again. Chamberlain, if we don't hold, they go on down and over the hill, and the whole flank caves in. He looked from face to face. The enormity of it, the weight of the line, was a mass too great to express. He could see it clearly, as in a broad, wide vision, a biblical dream. If the line broke here, then the hill was gone. All these boys from Pennsylvania, New York, hit from behind, above. Once the hill went, the flank of the army went. Good God! He could see troops running. He could see the blue flood, the bloody tide. Kilrain, Colonel, they're coming. Chamberlain marveled. But we're not so bad ourselves. One resource. Can't go back. Can't stay here where we are. Result inevitable. The idea formed. Let's fix bayonets, Chamberlain said. For a moment, no one moved. We'll have the advantage of moving downhill, he said. Spear understood. His eyes saw. He nodded automatically. The men coming up the hill stopped to volley. Weak fire came in return. Chamberlain said, They've got to be tired, those Rebs. They've got to be close to the end. Fix bayonets. Wait, Ellis, you take the left wing. I want a right wheel forward of the whole regiment, Lieutenant Melcher said, perplexed. Sir, excuse me, but what's the right wheel forward? Ellis Spear said, He means charge, Lieutenant. Charge. Chamberlain nodded. Not quite. We charge, swinging down to the right. We straighten out our line. Clark hangs over the 83rd, and we swing like a door, sweeping them down the hill. Understand? Everybody understand? Ellis, you take the wing, and when I yell, you go to it. The whole regiment goes forward, swing to the right. Well, Ellis Spear said. He shook his head. Well, let's go. Chamberlain raised his saber, bawled at the top of his voice. Fix bayonets! He was thinking, we don't have 200 men left. Not 200. More than the coming at us. He saw Melcher bound away toward the company, yelling, waving. Bayonets were coming out, clinking, clattering. He heard men beginning to shout, Maine men, strange shouts, hoarse, wordless, animal. He limped to the front, toward the great boulder where Tozer stood with the colors, Kilrain at his side. The Rebs were in a plain view, moving, firing. Chamberlain saw clearly a tall man aim his rifle at him, at me. Saw the smoke, the flash, but did not hear the bullet go by. Missed. Ha! He stepped into the open, balanced on the gray rock. Tozer had lifted the colors into the clear. The Rebs were 30 yards off. Chamberlain raised his saber, let loose the shout that was the greatest sound he could make, boiling at the yell from his chest. Fixed bayonets, charge! Fixed bayonets, charge! Fixed bayonets, charged! He leaped down from the boulder, still screaming, his voice beginning to crack and give, and all around him his men were roaring like animal screams. And he saw the whole regiment rising and pouring over the wall and beginning to bound down through the dark bushes, over the dead and dying and wounded, hats coming off, hair flying, mouths making sounds, one man firing as he ran, the last bullet, the last round.